Good afternoon. Welcome to Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council's Cabinet meeting on Wednesday, the 11th of February 26. Please note that today's meeting may be recorded and broadcast on the authority's website. Any person in view of a camera is, by virtue of attending, consented to being filmed, and the possible use of those images and sound recording being used as outbound. Matthew is recording. Excellent, thanks. Okay, we'll move on to the agenda for today. First item is apologies for absence. Thank you. Second item, any declarations of interest? We haven't. That's great. Okay. Agenda item 3, minutes of previous meeting. To approve for accuracy and enter the record of minutes of the meeting on Wednesday, the 14th of January 2022. I'm happy to move those. Have we got someone to second them?
Happy to second, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Jones. Have we got any comments on accuracy? Thank you. We'll take that to the vote then, please, Geraint.
So could all councillors in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hands? That's carried unanimously, Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the main agenda for this evening, this afternoon. Agenda item 4, corporate risk policy and strategy. To consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources, Councillor Salmon.
Thank you, Chair. Following an annual review, the Council's risk management policy and strategy is being presented here today for approval to be set to full council later on. The policy has been updated in line with internal audit recommendations and feedback from Governance and Audit Committee and scrutiny. The corporate risk policy and strategy was approved by Council in December 2024, and as part of that policy was set out that a review be done after 12 months, which is the document you can find in Appendix 1. During this annual review, it has been decided that how the Council identifies, assesses and responds to risks, together with the risk appetite, will stay the same, but will be reviewed again halfway through the next financial year. I'm going to go to the recommendation, of which is 2.1. The Council's risk management policy and strategy at Appendix 1 be noted and recommended to Council for full approval.
Thanks, Councillor Salmon. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, happy to second, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Anna Williams-Price. I'll open that up into any questions. Comments?
Chair. Just the one is to thank Andrew Mogford for putting this report together along with his team. Thank you very much.
Thanks. There's no more comments. Geraint, shall we take this to vote, please?
So could all councillors who are in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hands? That's carried unanimously, Chair.
Thanks, Geraint. Agenda item 5, buy with confidence scheme. To consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources, Councillor Salmon.
Thank you, Chair. The Buy with Confidence BWC scheme is a national trader approval programme owned and run by local authority trading standard services across the UK. Its purpose is to protect consumers from rogue traders and promote businesses that operate legally, honestly and fairly. Trading standards have been approached by Shared Regulatory Services, SRS, who currently run the scheme in Wales on behalf of 12 other local authorities, with others having already been invited to join. There are no financial implications for the local authority, but there is a cost to businesses which will be waived for the first year if they apply by March, if this is passed today. There's 2 recommendations. 2.1, the proposal to introduce the Buy with Confidence scheme in Merthyr Tydfil be approved. And 2.2, the delegation to the Head of Public Protection and Trading Standards Team Leader to sign and monitor the Memorandum of Understanding and Agreements with Shared Regulatory Services.
Interested, Councillor Salmon. Do we have a seconder?
I'll be just second the recommendation, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Lewis. I will take it to members' questions. Comments?
Chair. Just the one. Thank you to report authors Paul Lewis and Craig Rushton.
Thanks, Councillor Salmon. Again, should we take the vote, please?
So could all councillors who are in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hands? So that's carried unanimously, Chair.
Thank you very much. We will move on to the portfolio items. Item number 6, is Brecon Road, Merthyr Tydfil proposed traffic order to consider the report for the Director of Neighbourhood Services, Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Chair. Elected members of Park Ward and members of the public have highlighted road safety and parking concerns along Brecon Road in the area of Cofnodi'r Park Primary School. Issues include motorist parking there at school times, causing traffic flow issues, reducing the available carriageway width, and affecting drivers' visibility in both directions. The recommendation to alleviate the parking issues and improve the situation is that a prohibition on loading and unloading at any time is introduced. In addition to the existing prohibition of waiting at any time restrictions. The new restrictions will be identified by curb blip markings. This will also prohibit parking by disabled badge holders. Appendix 2 shows the existing and proposed parking restrictions, though a section of Brecon Road will remain unrestricted and will still be available for on-street parking along with the Cofnodi'r Park Pandy car park. The new regulations will have a positive impact by reducing congestion, improving road safety for pedestrians and allowing traffic to flow more freely along this section of road. The cost for this proposal is £5,000 and will be met from the traffic management budget. Chair, I move the recommendations of 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3 in the report. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. Do we have a seconder?
Happy to second, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Louise Medvokes. Do we have any questions? Any comments? Councillor Medvokes.
Thank you, Chair, if I may. As the ward councillors for Park Ward and serving governors of Cofnodi'r Park Primary School, Councillor Clive Jones and I want to be crystal clear. Our first duty is the safety of our children. This proposal is not about enforcement, it's about education, courtesy and changing behaviour, so every child, parent and neighbour can travel safely at school times. We strongly support the school's efforts to encourage parents and carers to park responsibly, and this order is something as in the authority's gift to enhance safety in the area. There has continuously been communication sent out to parents about this matter, but there hasn't been any improvement. So due to the ongoing concerns, Councillor Jones and I have advocated for these additional measures for a very long time. There's no denying, Chair, that getting your children to school on time is stressful. If parents need to rush and get to work, as a working mother myself, I know how pressurised those times can be in the mornings. But these are the very moments that have an increased risk of an incident occurring. Only a few weeks ago, there was a traffic collision that I witnessed firsthand, which was caused by unsafe parking outside of the school. Seconds earlier, the child had exited the parent's car before it was hit by a passing lorry. That the history of issues and that recent experience underlines why action is needed now, not to punish, but to prevent harm. Councillor Clive Jones and I are fully supportive of this report and the traffic amendment order, and will continue to work with the school, officers and the community to promote education first, safety-led solutions that protect our children and keep Brecon Road moving. But like I said, more importantly, that the children are safe at all times. We can appreciate that putting those additional measures in takes time, and we do hope to see further improvements to the traffic situation at the infant site, something that we will still continuously advocate for. I fully welcome this report, and I know Councillor Clive Jones does as well. We hope that we will start to see a cessation of incredibly dangerous parking in the area at drop-off and pick-up times. And just to add, Councillor Jones and I, we're more than happy to speak with any parents or residents if they have any concerns or would like further information in relation to this order. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Medvokes. Do we have any more comments? Shall we take that to the vote, please, Geraint?
Okay, so do all councillors in agreement with officer's recommendation, please raise their hands. It's carried unanimously, Chair.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 7 is highways adoptions. To consider the report of the Director of Neighbourhood Services, Councillor Jones.
Thank you again, Chair. Appendix 1 shows the highways that have been inspected and deemed suitable for adoption by the local authority, and thereby maintain at public expense. Should Cabinet accept the recommendations of 2.1, notices will be displayed at relevant locations, giving local residents an opportunity to object to the proposals within 1 month. The financial implications are laid out in section 4. Chair, I move the recommendation at 2.1 that the adoption of the streets as detailed in Appendix 1 on page 102 under section 228 of the Highways Act 1980 be approved. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. Do we have a seconder?
Yeah, happy to second, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Scrutton. Have we got any questions? Any comments? We'll take that to the vote then, please, Geraint.
So could all councillors in agreement with the officer's recommendation please raise their hands? Yeah, that's carried unanimously, Chair.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 8, Aberdare Road, Merthyr Tydfil proposed traffic regulation order. Consider the report of the Director of Neighbourhood Services, Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Chair. Before I go into this report specifically, we'd like to give an overview of the next 4 reports, as they all have the same background in that they were all included in the Welsh Government default 20-mile-per-hour limit on restricted roads across Wales in 2023. In late 2024, Welsh Government issued revised guidance to allow a review of roads where a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit is more appropriate. Members of the public were invited to submit requests to local authorities for roads that they wish to be reviewed under the new guidance. The next 4 agenda items are those that have been reconsidered in Merthyr Tydfil. So on to item 8, Aberdare Road. 3.6 in the report explains the extent of the road that was considered along with a diagram at Appendix 2 on page 127. Should Cabinet approve the recommendations, there will be a period where objections can be raised and presented to an appeals committee for consideration and resolution prior to any implementation. In 3.5 in the report, the outcome of the public consultation shows that 77.4% of respondents were in favour of reverting Aberdare Road back to 30 mile per hour, and therefore it is proposed that a traffic regulation order be progressed to enable this. Costs associated with this proposal will be met from the 2025-26 Welsh Government 20 mile per hour grant award. I move the recommendations at 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3 in the report. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. We have a seconder.
I second that.
Thanks, Councillor Salmon. Have we got any questions? Any comments?
Louise.
Oh, Louise had a question, sorry, or a comment?
It's just a quick question, just to reassure residents as well. I just want to, and it's in relation to all the roads really which are listed. Can I just check that and just to clarify that there will be monitoring of those roads after the speed limit has been changed? Thank you, Chair.
I'm sure that can be arranged, Councillor Brooks.
Yes, just to come in at a point. Yeah, we will be doing probably speed surveys potentially maybe 3 months after the change of speed limit.
Thank you, Carwyn. Louise, is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. I just wanted to double check. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Have we got any more questions before we move on to comments? Okay, any comments? Okay, we'll take that to the vote, please, Geraint.
So could all councillors in agreement with the officer's recommendation please raise their hands? That's carried unanimously, Chair.
The next item is agenda item 9, Cofnodi'r Road, Merthyr Tydfil proposed traffic regulation order. To consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources, Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Chair. 3.6 explains the extent of the road that was considered, along with the diagram at Appendix 2 on page 151. Should Cabinet approve the recommendation, there will be a period where objections can be raised and presented to an appeals committee for consideration and resolution prior to any implementation. At 3.5 in the report, the outcome of the public consultation shows that 76.27% of respondents were in favour of reverting Aberdare Road back to 30 mile an hour, and therefore it is proposed that a traffic regulation order be progressed to enable this. Costs associated with this proposal will be met from the 25-26 Welsh Government 20 mile an hour grant award. I move the recommendations at 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3 in the report.
Do we have a seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Salmon. Just a small amendment is to consider the report from the Director of Neighbourhood Services, not Governance and Resources. Do we have any questions? Any comments? We'll take out the vote then, please, Chair.
So could all councillors in agreement with the officer's recommendation please raise their hands? That's carried unanimously, Chair.
Agenda item 10 is the A4054 Cardiff Road, Quakers Yard, Merthyr Tydfil, proposed traffic regulation order to consider the report from Director of Neighbourhood Services. Deputy Leader, Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Chair. 3.6 explains the extent of the road that was considered, along with a diagram at Appendix 2 on page 175. Should Cabinet approve the recommendation, there will be a period where objections can be raised and presented to an appeals committee for consideration and resolution prior to any implementation. At 3.5 in the report, the outcome of the public consultation shows that 77.4% of respondents were in favour of reverting Cardiff Road back to 30 miles per hour, and therefore it is proposed that a traffic regulation order be progressed to enable this. Costs associated with this proposal will be met from the 25-26 Welsh Government 20 mile an hour grant award. I move the recommendations in 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3 in the report. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. Do we have a seconder for the motion?
Happy to second, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Minette-Vokes. Do we have any questions? Comments? We'll take out the vote then, please, Geraint.
Could all councillors in agreement with the officer's recommendation please raise their hands? That's carried unanimously, Chair.
Agenda item 11 is the Swansea Road, Merthyr Tydfil proposed traffic regulation order to consider the report of the Director of Neighbourhood Services. Deputy Leader, Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Chair. Again, 3.6 explains the extent of the road that was considered, along with a diagram at Appendix 2 on page 199. Should Cabinet approve the recommendation, there will be a period where objections can be raised and presented to an appeals committee for consideration and resolution prior to any implementation. In 3.5 in the report, the outcome of the public consultation shows that 76.45% of respondents were in favour of reverting this road back to 30 miles per hour, and therefore it is proposed that a traffic regulation order be progressed to enable this. Costs associated with this proposal will be met from the 25-26 Welsh Government 20 mile an hour grant award, and I move the recommendations at 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3 in the report. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. Do we have a seconder?
Happy to second the recommendation. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Lewis. Do we have any questions? Any comments? We'll take out the vote then, please, Geraint.
So could all councillors in agreement with the officer's recommendation please raise their hands? That's carried unanimously, Chair.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 12 are pitch fees to consider the report of the Director of Neighbourhood Services. Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Chair. A review commissioned by the Active Merthyr team in 2019 found that annual pitch fees caused financial hardship to many teams, with some folding as a result of said fees. Consequently, the Parks Department agreed not to charge pitch fees until 2025-26 in order for clubs to grow and consolidate their financial position. Following the recent review of pitch fees, it remains the view that reintroducing them will create financial hardship for clubs, increasing the risk of them folding, having an adverse effect on the local football league. Consideration has also been given to the council's well-being plan, where both a healthier Merthyr Tydfil and a clean and green Merthyr Tydfil are important aspects of the plan, which encourages use of our parks and green spaces to maintain or improve physical and mental health for our residents. For these reasons, the reintroduction of pitch fees is deferred until April 2028, with the costs being met corporately. So I move the recommendation at 2.1 that the annual maintenance cost of pitch fees be met from grounds maintenance budget from 2026 be approved. Okay.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. I'm happy to second the recommendation. Do we have any questions? Any comments? We can get the vote then, please, Geraint.
So could all councillors in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hands? That's carried unanimously, Chair.
Thank you very much, Geraint. Agenda item 13, Pride in Place Impact Fund, to consider the report of the Chief Executive. Councillor Scriven, would you like to refer to the report?
Yes, Chair, thank you.
I'd just like to summarise the Pride in Place impact report in a straightforward terms so residents can understand what's going on with this funding for Merthyr Tydfil. So Merthyr Tydfil has been allocated 1.5 million from the UK government under the Pride in Place Impact Fund. This funding specifically must be spent by March 2027. But the purpose of the fund is to deliver visible, practical improvements that restore local pride in the community, strengthen community spaces and revitalise neighbourhoods. The funding will focus on 3 key areas. Those key areas will be community spaces, public spaces and town centres. In the case of Merthyr Tydfil, what we're proposing is to divide the 1.5 million into 2 main investments. The first 750,000 would go toward redeveloping key heritage assets within the town centre, the aim of which is to preserve important historic buildings and transform them into active community spaces. The intention of which will be increase the footfall into our town centre, support our local businesses and strengthen civic pride within the community. But it's also about encouraging sustainable development. The second £750,000 then will be directed towards public space improvements, particularly within the Southern Valley wards. This could be used for things such as the upgrade of parks, replace outdated play equipment, inclusive outdoor facilities. There's a variety of things that could be used for. The funding is structured as a 100% capital grant and will be paid in 2 instalments across 2 financial years, and any unspent funds would have to be returned by March 2027. In simplistic terms, it's all about investing in visible, tangible improvements that residents can see and use, and revitalising town spaces to enhance our community. If I take you through the recommendations, Chair. So I've got a 2.1, and as the proposed delivery of the Pride in Place Impact Fund across the County Borough of Merthyr Tydfil be endorsed. I so move.
Thanks, Councillor Scriven. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, Chair, we have to second the report.
Thanks, Councillor Williams. Do we have any questions? Any comments?
Yeah.
Councillor Scriven?
Yeah, just to add, Chair, that obviously I'm really happy to see this come through. I'm not having some time since we've had information around the funds, and thanks to Zoe, Laura, for writing the report and all the team that have worked on this. What I will comment to say though is I know some members have raised questions around allocation of funds, and what we need to remind members is that the previous funds, which were the local neighbourhoods, was primarily set around the north end of the borough. But I'm more than happy to go back with the team and we can get a breakdown of where funds were allocated for transparency, which is why we're indicating that this 750,000 will be dedicated towards the south end of the valleys that didn't meet the requirements of the previous fund.
Thanks, Councillor Scriven. Can we take that to the vote, please?
So with all councillors in agreement with the officer's recommendation, please raise their hands. That's carried unanimously, Chair.
Thanks, Geraint. Okay, agenda item 14 and 15 are both information reports. So we go to agenda item 16. There's other business to deal with any other business deemed urgent by the chair. I have none, so we bring this meeting to a close. And I thank everybody for the attendance today.
Thank you, Chair.